where we dive into the heart of cinema's most unexpected moments. Every story has a twist, but some twists leave you speechless. Are you ready for the twist? A group of fighters gathers together to free the world from the evil of a dangerous monster. One day, planet Earth faced a great danger because of a dangerous monster called Piccolo. This monster was coming from another planet in space. As soon as it arrived on Earth, darkness spread and evil permeated everywhere, and no one could defeat it. Piccolo didn't just want to conquer the Earth, he was planning to destroy it. To make matters worse, he had an assistant named Ozero, and their combined power was immense. And whenever they gathered in one place, destruction would ensue. But fortunately, there was a group of fighters, or wizards, who gathered to achieve a single goal: to control Piccolo. They succeeded in gathering all their strength to create a great energy, and through it, they were able to imprison Piccolo inside a lamp. As soon as Piccolo was imprisoned, his assistant Ozero disappeared, and his whereabouts became unknown. And Piccolo remained trapped inside the lamp for a period of 2,000 years. The story begins with a young man named Goku, practicing balance with his grandfather. They were standing together on a rope, where the grandfather asked Goku to wrestle him, explaining that whoever falls to the ground first is the loser. A fierce battle ensued between them. With the jumping in the air and balancing on the rope, both of them possessed great strength. Don't ask how this old man can stand on the rope, while those his age find it difficult to walk. Goku tried every way to defeat his grandfather, but the grandfather unleashed a powerful energy towards Goku, causing him to fall to the ground. Grandpa started teaching Goku martial arts and the skillful use of internal energy instead of relying solely on physical strength. He taught him how to harness his energy so he could overcome his opponents. But Goku was facing a big problem with his schoolmates, who were always bullying him. He asked his grandfather for permission to use his power to teach them a lesson, but the grandfather firmly refused, knowing the danger of Goku's power and that he hadn't taught him to fight just to hit ordinary people, but for a specific purpose that would be revealed later. Goku felt frustrated and left his grandfather, but the grandfather stopped him and gave him a gift for his birthday. Goku opened the gift to find a fiery ball containing 4 stars. The grandfather told him that there are only 7 balls in the world, and this is one of them, and whoever manages to collect the 7 balls will gain great power. The grandfather asked Goku to keep the ball in a safe place so it wouldn't get lost. At school, Goku used to ride his bike, but one of his classmates, Fuller, broke it. Fuller and his friends always bullied Goku. Fuller tried to provoke him and dared him to hit him, but Goku restrained himself because he knew his strength could seriously hurt Fuller. At the same time, Piccolo had freed himself from the lamp and started searching for the 7 Dragon Balls. Don't ask how he got free because the story didn't explain that. The first place he went to was a small village in the middle of the desert, where he learned that there was one of the 7 balls. He sent his assistant to get the ball, which was in the possession of a simple woman living with her daughter. The woman tried to protect her daughter and hand over the ball, but Piccolo appeared and ordered his assistant to kill her. At the same time at school, the teacher was explaining the phenomenon of eclipses, which is scheduled to occur in 2 weeks. But Goku wasn't focused in class because he was infatuated with his classmate Chi-Chi. He kept imagining her looking at him until the teacher called him and asked him what he was explaining. Goku answered randomly, but his answer was correct, so the teacher let him go. Later, Goku tried to help Chi-Chi open her locker using his inner power, but accidentally opened all the lockers in the school, astonishing everyone. Chi-Chi knew that he possessed superhuman strength, and she admired him. It turned out that she was also training to use internal energy, but she hadn't reached his level. She invited him to a party at her house, and Goku immediately agreed. On this day, Goku went home to fix his hair and put on the clothes, while his grandfather was preparing dinner. Suddenly, Goku pulled his grandfather from behind to go out, but he remembered the fireball his grandfather had given him and started reading about it. Goku arrived at the party, and there he met Fuller's friends who were standing at the entrance. They started mocking him and preventing him from entering, but Goku didn't give up this time and refused to comply. The young men tried to hit him, but Goku skillfully dodged their blows, to the point where their punches ended up hitting each other. He continued doing that until they all fell to the ground. Fuller came out to see what had happened, and instead of confronting Goku, Goku took advantage of the situation and climbed onto Fuller's car. Every time Fuller hit him, his blows were recorded on parts of the car, which made Fuller very angry. Meanwhile, Chi-Chi was standing and watching what was happening, and she was impressed by what Goku had done, and she took him inside the party, and he couldn't believe that she finally talked to him. He told her that this was the best birthday of his life. He also told her about his family who passed away when he was 18, and since then he has been living with his grandfather. While Goku was talking to Chi-Chi, His grandfather was at home meditating, and suddenly, he found himself facing a cool assassin who had entered the house. It turned out that the old man was a professional ninja, and he defended himself brilliantly, but he was surprised when he discovered that Piccolo was standing in front of him. The old man learned that Piccolo had come out of the lamp, and he told him that he knew the ball was not at home. But the old man had no more time because he overpowered him and knocked him to the ground. The old man came out and demolished the house over his head. At that moment, Goku was still with Chi-Chi, and he felt that something had happened to his grandfather. So he left her and ran towards the house, arriving faster than a Ferrari. He discovered that the house had been destroyed and that his grandfather was buried under the rubble. He ran quickly to save him, but unfortunately, he was dying. Before he died, he told him a message that he must search for Master Roshi and that he must gather the 7 balls as quickly as possible before the eclipse occurs. He also assured him that he must believe in himself and the power within him. Then his grandfather died. Goku was very sad about the loss of his grandfather, and the next day he went to bury him, preparing to leave the house. He felt something strange in the house, and it turned out that there was a girl in the house with a gun pointed at him. At first he thought she was Piccolo, but she told him she wasn't Piccolo. The girl told him that she had come to retrieve her ball that had been stolen. Goku tried to escape, but she wouldn't let him go. She chased after him until she knocked him to the ground, then told him that the ball he had was taken from her father's storage 20 years ago, and she wouldn't part with it easily. But Goku told her that the ball contained 4 stars, which surprised her. When she saw him showing her the ball, she was sure it wasn't hers, and she told him what had happened to her. She said she was sleeping one night, and she had placed the ball in a heavily guarded storage. But someone attacked the storage, bypassed the guards, and stole the ball. When she went out to search for it, the tracking device led her to the ball's location, which means that this device will be useful for both of them. Goku told her what his grandfather had asked him to do before he died, which was to find Master Roshi. He told her that he needed to gather the 7 balls together. Then he suggested that they cooperate so he could reach Master Roshi and she could find her ball. The girl immediately agreed and told him her name was Boomer. Then she took something out of her bag and it transformed into a motorcycle, which amazed Goku because he had never seen such tools before. They moved together on their way until they reached the city. Goku began to feel that Piccolo was close to them, so Bulma took out the tracking device and showed him that there was a ball nearby. They quickly ran to the place where there was a house. They entered the house cautiously, while its owner was sleeping inside. However, despite that, Goku drops something from the cupboard, making a loud noise which wakes up the homeowner, who rushes to Goku to hit him. Then a very intense battle ensues between them, and it seems that Goku was weak against him. Therefore, he decides to use his inner energy, which when he brings it out from within, the man appears and recognizes it. He asks him about his grandfather, and this man is Master Roshi, whom Goku had been searching for. And he is the one who previously trained his grandfather in inner energy. And what a coincidence! Boomer was happy because he met someone from the past, until Goku told him that his grandfather had died and started recounting everything he had said to him before his death. Of course, Roshi feels sad, but he doesn't have time to mourn right now because he knows the world is in danger. So they must prepare and gather the 7 balls before Piccolo reaches them. They start looking for the ball in the house, but Roshi couldn't remember where it was. If Goku hadn't been sensing the balls, they wouldn't have been able to find them. But every time Goku looked at the ball and saw it, he felt like he was remembering something old, and he couldn't bear to look at it for long. So the ball falls from his hand, and it seems there is a secret behind these memories. Then Roshi takes the ball from him and tells them that they must move quickly because there are only 7 days left until the eclipse. If Piccolo reaches the balls before them, there will be great destruction on Earth. The important thing is not to let him reach his assistant Ozaru because then they will never be able to control him. At the same time, Piccolo was searching for the balls on the ground from east to west until he found one in the heart of the sea, submerged it in water, and went down to retrieve it. Then Goku and the others who were preparing to go to the sacred mountain where Roshi was training, and this mountain was the Dragon Mountain that Goku intended to go to after collecting the Dragon Balls. But he made Goku carry many things and run alongside them while they rode the motorcycle. And finally, they reached the mountain. There they were surprised, and they were supposed to train there to face Piccolo. Goku didn't know that, so he took it and they went to talk together. Since then, they started training together daily and began collecting the balls, until they fell into a big pit they couldn't get out of. A young man named Yamcha helped them and offered his assistance, but in return he asked to take Boomer's car, which Boomer refused. And because of that, they spent the whole day in the pit. Roshi took the opportunity to tell them an old story about the power of the 7 balls, and he told them that Piccolo has an assistant named Ozaru who wants to collect the balls to return them to their place, and if he does that, complete destruction of the planet will occur. But whoever gathers the 7 balls will be able to summon the sacred dragon spirit, which grants 1 wish to the summoner. Therefore, they must reach the balls before Piccolo can execute his plan. Suddenly, Yamcha appears while still sitting above the pit, listening to the story, but Boomer's tracking device picks up a signal from a ball near them. Roshi jumps to get them out of the pit and asks Boomer why he waited all this time when he could have gotten out from the beginning. But Yamcha, when he sees Roshi's strength, asks him to teach him and join their team, and also helps them reach the balls. While they were on the ground, they discovered a large pit, and at the same time, Piccolo had arrived at the same place and knew they were looking for the balls, so he summoned his army to fight Goku and his friends. Then the volcano appeared, where the ball was located, and monsters emerged from the walls of the volcano to chase Goku and his friends. But Goku used his mind and bypassed the corpses of the monsters to reach the ball. However, his assistant Piccolo reached him and wanted to take the ball from him, but he was able to hit her easily because she was weaker than him. So he retrieved the ball and returned to his team. But Roshi felt that time was passing quickly, and they needed to reach the 7 balls as soon as possible, especially since there was only 1 day left before the eclipse. Then he took the ball and went to a village called Tuisan. Meanwhile, it's revealed that Piccolo's assistant was spying on them and knew their destination. After that, Roshi going to the temple where he was training, where his master asked him for help and granted him the Maba power, a very great power that can control internal energy and use it to serve its owner. But the problem is that this power is very great, and the person who possesses it must be strong enough to withstand it, which will happen with the Chosen One, who will face Piccolo, and that is, of course, Goku. Then, another place where Chi-Chi fighting against Piccolo's assistant, but she didn't know that she was his assistant. However, it seemed that Chi-Chi was much stronger than her, but Piccolo's assistant wasn't there to defeat Chi-Chi. She was there to take a drop of her blood. She was cutting herself without realizing it and taking her blood. Then she left and departed. Thus, she loses the match because that is against the rules. Later, it'll be revealed why Piccolo's assistant took Goku's blood. In the end, Chi-Chi won the match, so Goku went to congratulate her without knowing the danger that was approaching them. At the same time, Boomer and Yamcha were walking together, and he began to notice that the two had fallen in love with each other. While Roshi continued to train Goku until he gave him a lesson, then left at midnight, while Goku was sitting and practicing. Chi-Chi entered, and it was clear that she was very fond of him. She gave him a piece of advice and a secret of strength that allowed him to light candles without fire. And from that moment on, they began to grow closer until they became very close. At that moment, Bulma's sleeping until she wakes up, startled because she heard a sound coming from Goku's room. And when she goes out, she finds Chi-Chi, but Bulma doesn't say anything to her and apologizes. Then they notice that Yamcha is also there, and they all stand together. But Chi-Chi feels embarrassed by them and runs away. After a short while, Goku appears from outside, and Bulma discovers, using the tracker, that Chi-Chi has stolen the ball. They rush after her, but she obstructs them and sets the corridor on fire. And the biggest surprise is that Chi-Chi is not 1, but 2. One of them is the real Chi-Chi, and the other is Piccolo's assistant, who used the blood she took from Chi-Chi in the arena to transform her appearance into Chi-Chi. The assistant easily enters the room thanks to her transformation, but fortunately, the real Chi-Chi appears and stops her. At that moment, Goku enters to witness the scene, but he can't tell them apart. In the end, one of them falls to the ground and asks Goku for help. Goku thinks she is the real Chi-Chi and goes to attack the other one. While the assistant tries to explain the situation, the real Chi-Chi discovers that the assistant is holding a gun and shoots both of them. Goku falls unconscious on the ground, while the assistant flees and returns to her normal form. Roshi arrives at this moment and tries to help Goku. At the moment when Goku was unconscious, he was dreaming of his grandfather, who advised him to believe in himself in order to defeat Osaru. The dream is interrupted when Roshi uses an electric shock to bring Goku back to consciousness. Meanwhile, Bulma tells everyone that they have reached the 7 Dragon Balls, and Roshi understands that they must head to the Dragon Temple because Piccolo will go there to summon the Holy Spirit. Everyone quickly moves toward the temple. At the same time, Piccolo continues to chant the Dragon Spirit incantation, and before the dragon appears, Goku's team arrives, and Roshi begins to attack Piccolo to hinder him. Piccolo gets angry and retaliates himself, but the big surprise is that the eclipse has begun. Ozaru is actually Goku, but in an ancient human form, and that Piccolo took advantage of this and released the Ozaru spirit within him. While Goku was watching his memories inside the ball, he remembered that he lived in the form of Ozaru before becoming human. Ozoro begins to take control of Goku's body again, transforms into a giant gorilla, and then escapes. At that moment, Goku remembered the advice of those who love him, and his strength began to increase. Goku returns to his nature and begins attacking Ozaru, while Bulma fights to help. In the battle, Goku defeats Ozaru and kills him, ending his evil forever. After the battle, Goku goes to check on Roshi, but unfortunately, he finds him dead. Goku decides to use his only wish and asks the dragon to bring Roshi back to life. Roshi's spirit returns and everyone feels joy. After their mission is over, Goku returns to the temple where he finds Chi-Chi, who is now fine, and she asks him to participate in a celebratory match to mark his safe return. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification button to get more new videos. See ya!